missed that one, let's have a recap. So last week we talked about activity. So activity involves mental and physical exercise, how you exercise your brain, and also how you exercise your body. So today we are going to continue and go deeper into how can you properly and productively exercise physically. So let's get started. As you probably know and remember that most things that are worthwhile take effort, and it is especially true with health. So good health doesn't come by a stroke of luck. We take effort, we make healthy choices to improve our body and our mind and our soul. So, we do the things that make us healthy and make those conscious choices. Although each one of us has a different genetic makeup and predisposition to disease, following health principles that our Creator has engraved in our body, our tissues, our nerves, and our cells will contribute to our well-being. When you are worn out all day from working and you have just been so busy, it really takes discipline to exercise and maintain a good exercise routine. And it can be so tempting just to sit on the couch, munch on peanuts while watching your favorite television shows or reading your favorite book than having a good routine for exercise. So what's really our responsibility here? Our responsibility to get us into a good exercise program is to evaluate where you are and what would it take you to get going, or especially the things that you enjoy doing, like what type of exercise you enjoy doing. In activity part 1, we already talked about the benefits of exercise. And yes, while I'm talking about activity and exercise, while I'm hiking, I also need to be careful so I won't just slip here, right? While my husband is taking this video. Stop. On our last episode, we had mentioned that a good frequency of exercise or a good time of exercise is about 30 minutes to an hour per day. So that's based on a calculation on a study that in physiology, a good amount of 150 minutes a week is a good amount of exercise that we can do, or that your body can do. Although for some athletes or some people who are really into exercising and activities, it's easy for them to meet that goal. So if you're new to exercising, or if you are not used to it yet, or if it's, if your life is so busy, a good way to do it is, yes, putting that 150 minutes into your goal that week is to map it out and break it down into small, achievable steps that are also measurable. So we're talking about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, right? So every day, if you break it down, you are really going down into 30 minutes to an hour a day. And so 30 minutes to an hour a day, if you break it down into smaller increments that are doable to you, especially when you're busy. So think about 10 minutes of exercise. So when we talk about exercise, it really gets a bad reputation, because when we think about exercise, we always think about the gym or strenuous activity. It doesn't have to be. There's a lot of activities, physical activities that you can do in 10 minutes increments, even just climbing up and down steps or stairs, or stretching, or moving your body, or things that you can do that doesn't require equipment is considered exercise. So remember, exercise is moving your body. So that is really exercise. And of course, we pick an activity or exercise that you enjoy and something that you can do within your schedule or within your circumstances. Now that you have a basic knowledge of exercise, let's talk about doing it. How can you do it, or can you get started in doing it? Number 1 is planning. So there are really key pointers here in planning. First is frequency. Then next would be time, the type of exercise as well. So let's talk about frequency. Period. Frequency. So frequency is how often or how many times a week are you planning to do your exercise. So the number of times you exercise depends on what your goal is. So for example, if your goal is cardio, then you could probably get away with 3 times a week, or you probably need to do 3 or 5 times a week. So but if your goal is weight loss, then you need to do more than that if you wanted, you know, results as well. If you're doing it for strength training, physiologists and experts recommend that you do it 2 to 3 times, not non-consecutive days with breaks in between. So you see, it depends on what your goal is. Are you doing it for your heart or for your strength or overall body exercises? So that also depends on, you know, on how you plan your exercise, and it's really advisable or recommended to talk to an expert or healthcare professional or a medical professional of what you are allowed to do and what you can do, and based also on your limitations, so you can create that goal of exercise or physical activity that will in turn contribute to your wellness and general well-being instead of it harming you. So the next pointer is intensity. So for example, with cardio exercise or exercise that helps improve your cardio health or your heart health, is to focus in your target heart zone and with different levels of intensity. So for example, strength training. So for strength training, you also want to focus on how much weight you want to lift or number of repetitions, so and things like that. So that is intensity. So the next pointer is time. So time is how long are you going to do your exercise. So while the recommendation is 30 minutes to 60 minutes, so 30 minutes to an hour per day, that doesn't mean that you're going to do it 30 minutes right away, especially when you are starting. So you can start with few minutes that you can do according to your schedule and what works best with your time, and work your way up from there. So for example, today you can only do 5 minutes. Well, do 5 minutes of that time, whether that's climbing up and down the steps, taking a walk around your neighborhood. So you also want to make it practical, that it can be incorporated in your daily life and your daily routine. See, the goal here is for you to be able to get to do it, not exactly is to reach the optimal or the recommendation or to achieve that goal right away. So again, baby steps. So the goal here really is to get you moving first. So we do baby steps, 1 step at a time, small increments, one small thing that you can do, so to get you moving, to get you started, right? The last pointer is the type of exercise. So the type of exercise really varies in what you would like to do, what you're allowed to do, what your body can do, and within, you know, your schedule, your circumstances, and perhaps there might be limitations that you can't do. So if you are not into exercising yet and you wanted to start and get into a routine, so if you don't like to consult a health professional, start with what you can do. And what I mean by that is get moving. It can be as simple as a walk, so you might want to start it with that one and work your way up, or talk to a friend that knows about exercise or in your community and get some suggestions or feedback, or perhaps talk to your doctor. So let's wrap it up. So there are pointers and to remember with exercise. So really just remember, start moving. So you know, you really won't get anything done unless you start moving. So just do it and follow these 3 principles. So a lot of times you get stuck on something, especially if you plan about exercise, if you want to start exercising, but really if you follow these 3 basic principles, then it will get you started right away, even today. So remember these 3 basic principles that I mentioned. Number 1, evaluate where you are. Number 2, set a goal. Where do you want to be? So what's your goal? Specific, right? Within the next month, within the next 6 months, or within this week. What's your goal? Then number 3 of the principle, the very basic one, is what it takes for you to get from where you are to where you want to be. So in other words, what will it take you to get from point A to point B? So for example, if you want to be able to walk a mile, this is just an example, then where do you want to start? So you start by just walking 100 yards, or you probably just want to start walking 0.25 a mile. right? To get you where you are, and then you can improve your strength level and your intensity from there. So the next pointer is evaluate your performance. How do you know if it works? Evaluate your performance. It can be use the weighing scale. So that's what I had mentioned. It has to be smart, meaning measurable. How do you measure if your exercise is effective? It can be based on your weight. It can be based on your heart rate. It can be based on how you feel in general. So the next pointer is get moving. Continuity and consistency is the key on achieving your exercise goals. And remember just three major exercise stoppers: procrastination, self-defeating attitude, and what's the next one? Lack of persistence. So you may not achieve all your exercise goal within the time period that you set. Don't get discouraged. You know, what really defeats this is the attitude sometimes, right? So with that being said, we have to remember that this is the temple of God and this is not our body, which means God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle, which also means we consult him in everything that we do. In Philippians 4:13 it says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I hope this topic is helpful to you. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out if we can help you with anything. So we are here in the health ministry department to kind of encourage you to do things to improve your wellness. Finally, here's some takeaway to you. So this week, spend each day and make time for exercise today. Yes, while it's true that doing exercise doesn't guarantee 100% with good health, but if you don't exercise, well, it's a guarantee that you're not gonna get good health, right? So what can you do today? Get moving. So remember, when we talk about exercise, it's to make you move. It's to move it, because we are made to move. So I will see you next time on our next Wellness Revival video series. Bye.